Hey guys, welcome to Joy's Kitchen. Today I want to share one of my favorite tofu dish named Mapo Tofu. It is simply one of the best known Sichuan dishes in the world. Mapo means old granny in Chinese. Over 1,000 years ago, this tofu dish was originally made by an old granny in Chengdu area, where my wife grew up. It became extremely popular because it simply includes the most popular Sichuan mala flavor. Mapo tofu is so popular that many variety of this dish exist, and many of those have been greatly changed, especially in Western countries. Today I want to follow the authentic recipe that my father-in-law made for years. You will be surprised how easy it is. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. For the best results, you want to use a silken or soft tofu because this dish is known to have very soft texture. I bought this from my local Safeway, but I wouldn't recommend Japanese or Korean silken tofu, which is a bit yellowish and has a different flavor. Slice open the package using your knife and drain the remaining water. Flip the box and gently tap the box. The tofu should come out in one piece. Since the tofu is so soft, you want to sharpen your knife first and gently cut the tofu into 1 cubic inch size. About 6 horizontal and 4 vertical cuts and 1 cross-section cut will do it. The original Mapo tofu recipe used finely chopped beef, but I find the ground beef does a fantastic job. You're gonna use 80 to 85% lean beef because the small fraction of the fat goes really well with tofu. Here we bought about 2 pounds and a half 85% lean beef. You will only need about half pound. 3 thin sliced ginger root, but if you love ginger, you can finely chop it, which should provide a stronger ginger flavor. Peel 3 fresh garlic cloves. Smash the garlic cloves using your knife and finely chop. This has to be fresh garlic. Garlic powder won't be a good sub because we want to have garlic oil soak into the tofu later. Next, we need a fresh green onion. We have been growing them in our yard since last year, so we can have the fresh green onion for most of the time of year. Chop it into 3-inch pieces and slice the leaves. Then cut it into smaller pieces. The fresh Sichuan peppercorn are the key of this dish. People like the tinkling and the numbing taste provided by this spice, also known as ma flavor. Grind about 2 teaspoons of them. Some restaurant chef would bake the peppercorn a little bit before grinding them, but I wouldn't recommend this because if you bake the peppercorns too long, they would become a little bit bitter. Remember, if you have bought a bunch of this, you want to save them into freezer for long-term storage. Another key element of this dish is chili oil-based Sichuan bean paste, also known as Xian Doufu. Highly recommend this product showing now in the picture because it is simply the best brand that producing this bean paste for over 100 years. There's really no substitute for this. You can directly add it to the cooking pan. I like to finely mice it and to chop up the big piece of chili in the paste. To thicken the sauce, we need to use 2 teaspoons cornstarch and mix with 2 tablespoons water. This is a very common cooking technique being used for a long time in Chinese cuisine. Now we have all ingredients prepared and list on your left hand side. If needed, you can pause the video or make a screenshot as a checklist. Okay, now we got all the ingredients prepared. Let's start cooking. Set the stove to high heat and grab a saucepan or a pot, adding enough water to immerse the tofu. Bring the water to boil and then add the tofu. This step is essential to harden the tofu surface and reduce the overall cooking time. When the water boils again, you can move the saucepan from the heat, but do not drain the tofu with cold water. Grab a frying pan and bring it to hot. Just a touch of olive oil and add the ground beef. The key here is to turn down heat and constantly stir the meat. Otherwise, you may end up with a burger patty. Make sure you do not overcook the beef, just get it brown. Add the ginger slice while cooking the beef. The ginger can help to reduce the gamey flavor from the meat. Now you can see all the fat from the beef has melted. Traditional Chinese dishes never use butter, but they get that flavor from the meat fat. Now you can add the chili sauce, Sichuan bean paste. Cook for another minute to bring out all the flavor from this unique spice. We don't want to make this dish too spicy, but if you adore hot Chengdu dishes, you can add a couple of dried chilies now. If you cannot find some of the ingredient spice in your local market, I have the Amazon links listed down below in the video description. Especially the chili oil bean paste and the Sichuan peppercorn could only be available in Asian markets. Mapo Tofu is known to have the mala sauce in the dish, so we add 1 cup of water to make the sauce with all the juice came out of the beef. Bring the tofu directly from the saucepan. When the tofu is hot, it is very easy to absorb the juice and chili sauce from the Sichuan bean paste. You may get excess water from the tofu, but it's totally fine. Gently stir the tofu with chili sauce, mix them really well. Now you can cover the lid and let it cook for a minute or two. Now add the minced garlic. As mentioned before, you really want to add fresh garlic instead of garlic powder. You can smell the garlic right after you add it in. I can tell you it already smells really good now. Add half or 1/3 of the crushed Sichuan peppercorn. You want to have this portion cooked with the tofu and the beef thoroughly. Let them absorb the ma flavor. Sichuan popcorn is critical for almost every Sichuan mala dish, such as Chengdu hot pot jiaoma chicken, but it has been largely skipped in Western-style Chinese cuisine. Now you're gonna turn down the heat or even pull the pan off the cooktop and add the pre-mixed cornstarch. This step is to thicken the remaining sauce, making them stick to the tofu. It is a good idea to add half of the cornstarch because depending on how much liquid left in the pan, you really don't want to get the sauce too thick, even become a glue-like sauce. That will be not tasty at all. If you find the sauce is still very thin, you can add more cornstarch as needed until desired thickness. Add a touch of sesame oil to give another layer of flavor, but it is completely optional. Last, you can sprinkle the second half of crushed Sichuan peppercorns, but do not mix them, because when you take the bites, the crushed peppercorns can give you that tinkling and numbing feel on your lips and tongue. This is the key of mala. Finally, toss the chopped green onion. Now, there you have it, the easy homemade Mapo Tofu. In textbook, there are 7 characteristics of this dish. The numbing from peppercorns, the spicy hot from chili sauce, the hot temperature when serving is right off the pan, and the freshness and tenderness from the tofu, the aromatic and flaky from the beef. You can never go wrong pairing a bowl of white rice with almost every Asian dishes. This one no exception. Alright, I hope you enjoy our video and try this recipe at home. Please subscribe our channel and see you next time.